sun rises. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Amun. Peace, 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 y'all. Early in the morning. Ancestors woke me up. And I told you over and over and over again. When you hear words or voices, if you will, pay attention to them. It's a message that's being told. In your deep subconscious mind, what you believe, you're harnessing it. And you're not allowing it to escape and flow. I'm about to drop some science to you. Common sense is reality. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And the reason why you're going to get your feelings hurt, you over emotional. I know that. You know that. The question is, do you really know that? I'm Chocolate Amun Ra, and I am just the messenger. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm not here to view me, how many views I got. I'm here to drop the serious message. Ancestors said it's time to do it again. Because these people, they don't get it. Our descendant, get prepared. It ain't gonna always be what you think it is. The first thing I want to tell you is this. I am not your reverend. I'm not your minister. I'm not your preacher. I'm not your archaeologist. I'm not your astronomer. I'm not your mathematician teacher. I am not your
I was a terror since the public school era.
Catholic church minister, teacher at all. I'm just your messenger. One more time. I'm none of those things that I just claimed not to be. I'm the simple man that found out God, the Creator, is inside me and always has been in me. The third eye, which is my awakening of understanding the system of things. Because the third eye doesn't physically open up. It's all about being awareness on what's going on and how you deal with what's going on. That's what the third eye is really all about. It's a spiritual thing. It is a spiritual, natural thing of you being aware. Understand the third eye. Each generation, each civilization have taken the third eye concept and make it into what they want it to be. But go with the natural flow of things. It's just dealing with the awareness of life and how patient you're going to be, how understanding you're going to be, humble, and how you deal with adversity as a being on this earth. Let's don't ever forget, you live in space. That you live in space, that you are inside a rock that is 3 rocks from the sun that gives us power. Now you could break down all the elements all you want if that's going to satisfy you. Neutrons, protons, atoms. You can break all this mathematically all you want. But let's ask a true question. Are you living that natural flow abundantly? Or are you just reading a bunch of books and all of a sudden you find yourself awoken of some knowledge? But if you're taking this knowledge and using it to live abundant life. See, if you're reading a bunch of books and studying different documentaries and different histories about different people, all we doing is regurgitating other people's work. But we're not applying this to better ourselves, better our families, to educate their minds, to escape from what? The system of things. Now, to escape from the system of things is what? That's the question. To escape from the system of things is escape from here. In your mind. You could never physically escape. Never. What, you think they're going to let you go? Huh? No. It don't work like that. You will always be in the system of things because you were born in the system of things. In your mind, though, you can be free. That is the true nature. And you can start peeling off layers of things that don't seem to match up. When you do your research, and start to understand the philosophy and realize of the conception of all these different religion and all these different holidays and all these things, the makeup of what you're doing is all part of entertaining you. That's the realism. It's the part of entertaining you. Now let me get one thing straight. Those who've seen me in many different videos and watched and read many of my different posts and watch videos. I ain't claiming to be perfect. I'm not claiming that I'm gonna not use foul language. No. This is reality. What you see is what you get. Now, you will see me in many different African garments is because I love Africa. But why do I love Africa? Why do I love Africa? Is it part of me? Is it me? Am I part of Africa? Is my being, my DNA, part of Africa? Can I feel my deity trying to balance a frequency from Africa? Or maybe I'm rejecting the system of things here in America, because the system of things of America is not predicated towards the darker race. But when we scrape off the layers and beginning to see the operation of why the darker race is being treated in an inhuman behavior. Now, does this go for all?
I was a terror since the public school era.
Nah, this doesn't. This doesn't go for all. Understand this. If you don't know who you are, but you claiming something, It could be confusion. Now you see me with the Kemetic symbols, right? But these symbols are around the world. You see me with the Buddha beads. This has been around for thousands of years. Because history has been mixed, entwined with truths and lies. Let me put this work in for you right quick. I hope you got a clear understanding. Now I'm gonna drop it like it's hot. In the last couple of weeks, Facebook, YouTube, and all the other social medias has been showing things about Africa, especially Libya, about the slave trade. Slave trade been going on for thousands of years. Our descendant, if and only if our descendant were slaves. I said if, because everybody that's living here in America on the dark-skinned race is not a slave, come from a descendant of a slave. That is a lie. Because if your descendant was already here, North and South America, indigenous people, they were never slaves. Do your research. And all African people was not slaves. Do your research. So it's easy for you to sit there and go, well, we come over here. Some people came on their own free will. See, we keep mixing things up. Every African that's here in America was not a slave. It's easy to put everybody in one barrel and then start pointing the finger. You'll say, well, we can do DNA testing. You don't know if that DNA testing is accurate. You don't know if it's official. They can tell you whatever they want. Unless you know someone that do DNA testing and you could be right there, or you feel comfortable enough and trust them, and when they do their DNA testing and find out the truth. Are we gonna keep it real? Are we gonna keep it real? Because I ain't got time for games. Now back to my point. When I was telling y'all about African people. It's not for you to get mad. Ask yourself this question. Why do the African nations, 54 nations, and this the biggest continent on the planet, do not unite? You do not ask yourself these questions. All of them. Why they don't unite? Why? If they will unite, Africa will become the most and the biggest, powerfulest country in the world. With all the resources that's in Africa. Get all the foreigners out of Africa. Sweep them away. But they can't do that. Understand what I'm about to tell you. Some of you don't want to get it. Because the evidence is smack in your face. It is so smack in your face but you're so naive. You don't want to know because you want to sweep the deep, dark, dirty secrets underneath the table so nobody can see it. There were many African presidents that begged for mercy. There were many African presidents that wanted to apologize to the people here in America, and that was the darker race. They wanted to apologize, but the American politicians and American people that's in power said, oh no, we can't allow you to do that. They was ready to give up money and come to some of the black churches and give donations. An American says you can't do that. Let's go figure. Are we trying to pay attention? Because it's all about common sense. Once you begin to understand and free yourself, literally, free yourself from all these different activities and watch your third eye, which is your consciousness, your awareness, will begin to open up. Now, before I get into that in part 2, your consciousness and your awareness, I'm going to continue on about Africa.
I was a terror system public school era.
Africa is the most beautiful continent in the world. I will say it again. Africa is the most beautiful continent in the world. But Africa is the most bullshit continent in the world. Okay, I'll say it again. Africa is the most bullshit continent in the world. Here we go. You got China, you got Russia, you got the French, many different other countries that's in Africa, including America, and none of these 54 nations are trying to push them out. Huh? Why? Why do Africa follow different religion, and we are supposed to be the origin of religion or spirituality? But how is African people following Christianity? How's African people following even Islamic? Let's think about this. I'm not saying Islam is a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what happened to the spirituality systems in Africa that they got broken down and now is not being used. Now, I'm not saying that the whole spirituality system in different nations in Africa is not being used, but why is not being displayed? But Islam and Christianity, these two religions, are in Africa. Now, Islam, Africans been worshiping Islam or using that religious concept long before Christianity. This is what they say. Christianity, it is based on a white Jesus. Oh, did I hurt your feelings? Let me say it again. Christianity is based on a white Jesus. Christianity is based on everything white. White power, white politics, white money, white religion, and white sex. That's Christianity. Islam is based on Allah, the black man. The black man, his religion,
I was a terrorist since the public school era.
his God, his spirituality. He is God because the Creator made him in the image, which is blackness. The origin. Islam is basic to me, is the closest you can get because it is in Africa. Christianity is created from the white conception. Then it was used to control. Now understand what I'm about to tell you. Africa. There's many different spiritualities. You got voodoo, Hindu. These are spiritual. Some people call it religion. Some people say it's not. Buddhism. Dealing with the meditation. Dealing with the psychological mindset. Understand the conception when I'm basically breaking it down for you about Africa. Africa have many different dialogues, many different languages, many different ways of thinking of how we need to deal with the conception of Africa. But if we don't sit up here and basically understand its nature, its roots, and where it comes from and how it's delivered, how in the world we're going to know the truth of its hidden secrets that's swept underneath the table? We're dealing with Christianity, we're dealing with Islam. We're dealing with two different religions that's possibly battling each other to be who's number one. But the people in Africa is also separated because you got foreigners who came in and started preaching their religious beliefs. So you got generation of time at the time of people sitting up there believing through abuse, through death, to these African people. So for the African people to survive and to move on, they had to be docile. And when it became docile, they began to use the religion, but they use the religion of Christianity in the format that they can use to worship the Creator. But the only thing they knew when they was taught was this white God. Living in the land they was living in, they knew they could not convert back over to Africanism. Because if they did, they would have to deal with the consequences that they were surrounded by and where they was living. They tried to share secret meetings and tried to do sacred congregations to be able to keep their identity. But some people sold out. Some people's like, oh, I don't want to go to the African way. We don't live in Africa anymore. I wasn't born in Africa. So they sold out. This ain't nothing new.
I was a terrorist since the public school era.
This is nothing new. Understand that. Oh, I'm not just ramping and raving and just talking out my ass because I feel like it. Nah. The reason why I'm talking like this way is because the ancestor says, pick up the speed. Africa is the most magnificent continent, in the world. But it's one of the biggest lies. Because lies is that the foreigners that came in and began to infiltrate They're being infiltrated by taking structures of politicians and taking people and assassinating this one over here, bringing this one over there, and putting this one in this place, and feeding them information and giving them money. You're going to be rich. So now you got to say this and say that, so we can do what we have to do in the background. But let me tell you this. Before we got there's called resources. The human body, human cargo is resources. It's a big commodity. When you sweep this under the rug to find out why Africa don't unite, the 54 nations in Africa don't unite, it's dealing with power, sex, politics, and religion. The four horsemen of a populace. Wake up your third eye. Why you don't want to hear the truth? This is our beautiful continent, Africa. Our beautiful continent, Africa. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look what they're doing to it. How they gonna allow China, Russia, French, and America, and all these different foreigners coming in to Africa with free will? Free will. How do you allow them to come to this beautiful continent and start to steal and take and manipulate your mind of giving it resources? And the people that live in there, living in this land, are poor. How is this? Who's their government? Congo, Libya, Zimbabwe, Syria, Egypt. What all these different places at? The things that's going on. And then the powerful nations in Africa, why they don't step up with the military forces and take heed and go, we're not standing for this. We must unite. Why? Why they're not making this move? Power and resources. Oh, the same Arabs that's supposed to be under the religion of Islam, they over there selling Africans. Oh, yeah. Isn't Islam their religion? Islamic? So why are they selling these black people?
I was a terror since the public school era.
This kid's name straight. Something don't seem right. What's going on? You got these Arabs over there putting guns in Libyan people's heads and talking about, if you don't, we're going to kill you. Some don't make no sense. What religion are they studying? Has to be Islam. Isn't the Arabs studying Islamic movement? What kind of people? You're brown, they're darker than you, but you're taking a gun to their head and say, oh, we're slaves. Slaves is a big business. The human cargo is big business. Oh, you just think it only going to happen in Africa, Thailand, Russia, here in America? Oh, you don't think so? Here in America, when they have people who's rich and they hiring only sweatshops. Oh, you don't think sweatshops is here? Or they import their goods to these sweatshops, but they're tied to them because they're paying someone else a percentage, but not paying the workers the money. Let's get real. All this is big business. The question is, do you want to know the truth? Are you still playing games with your own mind? You don't want to work up your third eye. You don't want to wake it up because it don't affect you. Oh, but it do. Oh, but it do. Because it always trickle down. See you in part 2. I'ma get more raw. You ain't got to like me. I'm just a messenger. Chocolate Amun Ra.